It is time now for the people on earth to begin preparing for the planned changes in earnest. Many prophecies have been given to you, so many as to be confusing. This has made it possible for most to do nothing, because how could they prepare for so many different possibilities? It is imperative to begin with the most basic steps. Consider what are your most basic needs of man in the particular climatic region that you live in. Where you are with winter coming in would be food, warmth, shelter, and water. If warmth should be critical, it should be addressed. Let's take a hypothetical example of an earth change, disaster. Suppose there was an especially severe winter storm in your area. This would be a storm that involved high winds, extreme cold, and quantities of blowing and drifting snow. The electrical power would, of course, be cut off. Even if gas was available, it would be unavailable to you unless there was a gas-powered fireplace. Without electricity, you could not cook on your electric stove. There would be no electric lights. The streets would be impassable, and probably telephone lines would be out. So you could contact no one. What would be your plan? Have you even thought of one possibility through to this extent? I suggest that you have at least basic emergency supplies available at home, or perhaps in your auto, as you are seldom anywhere without it being close by. A camp stove with fuel, some canned or dehydrated food, sleeping bag, and most of all, water. Be sure all is in working order. Test everything to make sure you know how to use it. See that all parts are there. Know what it is that you would need to do. Watch your weather forecasts and be aware that any potential storm can be strengthened and steered. Instruments are in place and in use with the sophistication to do this. The harp. Inasmuch as we cannot interfere, we cannot protect you from this possibility. Of course, this discussion is centered on only one of the many possibilities. You may expect that these to be happening around the planet as the equipment is tested in order to understand its capabilities before coming up with a planned sequence of scenarios to help them achieving their goals. Check your food supplies. Long-keeping winter vegetables are a wise investment, and do cook them to learn how. For most of you, fall into the prepared food trap. Available lake or river water could be frozen, and it's seldom pure enough to drink. Water storage is wise, and even that will not stay pure without special care. A camping purified pump is available with extra filters. Considering adding a first aid kit, change of clothing, etc. I strongly suggest that you take stock, make a plan, and actually put together a workable short-term emergency kit and have it in place. Once that is completed, then add a long-term necessities on a regular basis. Once this is accomplished, you can then turn your attention to the business at hand. There was an old typing class exercise. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. It would seem to me that this is the most appropriate now. But in coming to the aid of the country, one must put him or herself in a position of confidence, so that in a crisis attention can be turned outward to those in need rather than scrambling to meet one's own personal needs. In closing our first session, I would remind you that the days of greater chaos are drawing closer in ascending quickness. Let us continue these sessions so that our clarity may increase and our messages may become truly a guiding light in the darkening of the days ahead. Sometimes it is necessary for the darkness to descend before people can be aware of a light that has been shining all along. Thus shall be coming together the true family of light bearers, serve to vanquish the these of those with the dark intentions. Always remember, things work together to bring forth that which was planned long ago, for God's plans cannot be thwarted. The duration and complexity of events can be altered if there is a faltering of faith and action on the part of those that have been placed in stations of service. None are placed who do not have the ability to accomplish their missions. Some will falter and perhaps even fail. That, of course, is a possibility, but backups are in place and things will move forward in divine order. If you trust the knowledge that there is indeed an overall plan, a larger picture, and that it will succeed, then your own courage and faith will be less likely to falter. Trust the plan and pay no attention to the day-to-day details. This knowingness will be your rock in which to lean your touchstone of faith. Let us begin on this new day in a quest of a new day. The people of your planet sink further into the morass of depression and suppression. There's nothing but doom and gloom reported all around them. For a lack of vision of light, all appears to be fading into darkness. The focus of attention on the devils of the dark doings does not resolve the issue. In order for light to triumph over darkness, there must be a vision of the light that translates into a recognizable reality. Let us use the birth of the United States as an example. Though we cannot cover the details, we can look at the process as it is known. There were those who came together to envision something that was different than what was currently being experienced by the planetary inhabitants. No one person brought forth the vision. It was a composite of the inspirations that were but pieces of the whole. The process must be repeated again. There are those who believe that you should return to what you had before. Let us say that even that would not resolve the issues at hand. The founding fathers did not have instant communication, the Internet, exotic surveillance methods, under and above sea devices, as well as horrendous weapons of destruction which would to deal. You have allowed these to be created, and though you long to return to a simpler time, you will either tame these or they will destroy you. You must look past the need to merely survive the methods of trickery designed to annihilate you and dream what you would have instead of the chaos of darkness. It is as simple as that. For as long as you choose to merely understand and only survive the onslaughts of the oppressors, you are sinking deeper into the morass. You will only rise to the top with a new vision. We cannot give you that vision. The Book of Spiritual Laws provides some guidelines. However, the vision must be simple to be powerful. It must be visual in its simplicity so that the people now surrounded in darkness can literally be struck with its beauty and feel called to its simplicity and clarity. How do you do this? Small group cannot do it. A nucleus must come together. And as they begin the process, others of vision will be drawn to it, in fact, literally sent. The time for the beginning this project is not a convenient time later, but now. There is no time to be wasted if you are to accomplish this. To tarry will only make it more difficult and bring more suffering to the already oppressed. The window will close in literally weeks if it is not begun. I know you are caught up in the process of illuminating the details of the chaos, but what has that done to stop it? Can you actually see anything happening to change the speed of the decline? Then you must change your perspective. Look in the opposite direction. Are you part of the problem by observing it, or can you become part of the solution by looking for the building blocks of what you want instead? Begin in your meditations to ask, who would serve well in this project? This is not an esoteric process for people who are looking to give a lip service and stand on the sidelines and observe. This is for the visionary realists that may never actually observe the extent of the work they do now until the very end. These people will be able to look beyond the chaos and recognize the opportunity. I suppose you might say these are people with one foot in each world, who can look into both without losing their balance. Once you start looking for them, you will find them, coming into your experience in ways that may seem too unusual to be accidental. Meet in groups of 3, 7s, and 12s. This is the most important step to be taken now. Know that all help possible will be given on request. Many ideas will flow through, but those of value will take root, and the dream will become real. But first it must be conceived before it can be born. You need not feel total responsibility for any phase, only for the initial promotion of the idea. The hour is desperate, and the plans of God hinge upon the people of service. The awareness of the need for change is well established in the consciousness of many. Now the vision must be planted, that it may sprout and come to fruition. May your day be blessed with the love that is yours, for you are love in manifestation. It is your job and your privilege to focus it, that God may stand forth in freedom and truth in the experience of His beloved children.